Israel no longer belongs within the civilized community of nations, and its barbarism demands nothing less than decisive action to safeguard not just the Middle East, but the entire global order. 50 years ago, the world was so horrified by the atrocities in South Africa that the United Nations General Assembly took the unprecedented step of denying its government a seat of the assembly. Israel, however, has gone beyond the pale, beyond reason, beyond humanity itself in its vile and blatant perpetration of genocide of the people of Palestine. These cumulative acts of violence against an entire nation leaves us with no choice but to demand the swift and effective action of the international community, including embargo, suspension, and even expulsion. In its relentless campaigns, Israel has now struck at the very heart of the international community's lifeline for Palestine, by targeting the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees. By barring UNRWA from operating, Israel is causing the collapse of the world's humanitarian response, cutting off.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode, New Year's Eve edition of The Good Faith Show. I'm your host, Andre Morton, and The Good Faith Show is exclusively on the ATP Network. You can catch the ATP Network on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and Twitter. And also, too, guys, if you haven't done so, hit the like button. Like, it's free. It's free to hit the like button on free 99. When y'all hit the like button, like I see it on YouTube, like I look at the analytics, when you hit the like button, more eyeballs watch our content. Even though I'm not good at this, but hey, I'm trying. I mean, if I thought I sucked at this, I'll quit. But yeah, hit the like button. I used to do shameless plugs, but I don't do those no more. I just have to move different these days, man. Well, I did a shameless plug, follow me on Twitter, LakeshowBoy24. In my alternate account, Conrad Dre, because Twitter, you never know. You wake up and, your account is gone because, rules for thee, not for thee. So, yeah, I know some of you guys heard that the co-founder of the network, her a big account got suspended. Now, that's why we didn't do tea time yesterday, because she was really upset. And, I tend to get her space. Sometimes you gotta let people grieve in their own way. Like, that sucks, man. Like, she, and then the craziest thing about it, she didn't even do a goddamn thing. So, we've been speculating on how this started. We really don't know, to be honest with you. Well, we got an idea of who possibly did it, because rumors been spread around towards her. But like, it just, like, this last week and a half, man, has been crazy. You meet people online. I know a lot of people say that Twitter isn't a real place. It is to a certain extent. Like, you meet people online, you talk to them, like, you plan to do things with them, and then all of a sudden they just, how can I say this in a nice, easy way? Lose their mind. So yeah, it's sad. Like, so many people on Twitter that I was cool with, then over time we just ain't cool no more. Like, I don't hate them. Like, if they have a project and they reach out to me, I help them. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, because we had some formal, like, scuffles, like Marty B, for example. Like, I still work with the guy. I still follow him on Twitter. But I'm just disappointed in what he did. Like, he should have said this shit from the jump. Like, he wanted to go your own way. Like, I don't care, man. Like, we need more voices on the fucking in this space. Like, it's more people on here, but we need more people to speak out, like, tell the truth. Like, he's a music mogul. Like, tell it through your music. I used to promote him and stuff. When I promote people, like, the co-founder, Marty, or anybody else. I don't do it for them to owe me anything. You know, I don't give to get. Like I do it because these people, because I thought these people was cool. Like, no, the co-founder, she's cool, but but it is what it is. And also too, this is not for everybody. Like everybody, like don't have the mental capacity to get behind a camera and talk to people for like an hour to 2 hours, or you know what I'm saying. So you know, like Marty, his thing is music. That's his love. Like this is my love, getting behind a microphone, trying to speak truth to power. It's not easy sometimes. Like um, starting a network is not easy. I did that in 2024. Like you got it. Like people came and went, but it is what it is. I wanted more voices on here, but the few we got left, you gotta take advantage of that. Like hopefully over time we'll find more people, to join. I want this to be a big network. Like I want it to be bigger than 4 or 5 people. I want this to go wide. Like I'm not planning to do this all my life. Like I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm not planning to be behind a microphone. I'm planning to do other things I think that are more, um, how you say it, that are more important. Like I'm not saying this is important. Like the importance of this is to educate, but I'm just saying like you got to take your education on the grass. Like as the new age sucker say, you got to touch grass. So 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 yeah. I hope my co-founder get her Twitter account back. I know she's very very upset, and I get that. And she could take all the time she need. No rush. I handle it. Like when she was sick back in September for a whole month, believe it or not. Um, I held the fort down for her and stuff like that. It's no big deal. She got obligations I don't have too. Like on top of that, so I don't have no kids. so yeah, I can do this. See, when you have extra obligations, your time is very limited. So take the time you need, co-founder. I'll be here hopefully if I'm not dead. And then also too, man, what else I forgot to say. Later today, me and Left Independent will be doing a New Year's Eve recap. I call it extravaganza, but things didn't work out with that, so we're just gonna talk about 2024 and the good and the bad and what's for 2025. Everything just seems so bleak. It really does, and yeah. So that's that. So the video you saw on there before I started talking was about Malaysia saying they're gonna punish Israel. They want to punish Israel, and um, I give kudos to these countries that's calling out calling out Israel's evil. I give them major credit, but I feel like the United States gonna have to stop sending money to Israel, and Israel had no choice but to stop um, murking innocent Palestinian women and children like that. That's what's gonna have to happen. So yeah, the United States give the most money to Israel out of Germany and a few other countries. Like yeah, it's beyond crazy. So all right, guys. I'm gonna talk about Fat Joe right now. All right, guys. Fat Joe um, running his fat mouth. Not trying to fat shame or nothing. I'm just saying, like, my thing is if you're gonna run your mouth about things, then you should do your research on it. Like, the guy didn't even know what foundation he was talking about. He didn't even know the wording of the name of the foundation that he was taking shots to. And then my thing is, yeah, I'm gonna play the whole video in its entirety, and then I'm gonna play it in its entirety. Then I'm gonna play it and break it down. Then I'm gonna show y'all what he's talking about. So here we go.
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo, bro. These rumors were made by radical.
Okay, it replayed it. I guess it loops itself. Okay, you heard what he said, right? I mean, oh God, I hate people like this that think they know every damn thing. Like they think they know how folks roll, how folks think. My question to Fat Joe is that like you don't even understand what the organization is about. God, I did my own research. Like, Fat Joe, I'm pretty sure Fat Joe got Google, right? He could have Googled up the people he was talking about, and he was like, oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to pause it, man. Jeez Louise, man. All right, here we go. I'm playing the pause now.
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys.
My thing is, that right there, radical black racists. How can black folks be racist? Like, black folks cannot be racist, Fat Joe. How can we be racist? Like, I don't understand that. Like, that ain't the first time I heard somebody say that. Like, black folk could be racist too. I'm like, what? No. If you're talking in terms of this is a different topic, but the immigration thing, I think even though I think the black folks that were saying all that shit all along got it wrong. They find it's just somebody to blame, but like the immigrants, but actually it's your government, it's the corporations you work for that's making your life hard. It's not the immigrants coming over here taking the jobs. Like, that's not even true. But I digress. Being racist over because like I guess he's saying that these particular type of black people want to listen to their own hip hop, their own version, not Jamaican, not the other one he was talking about. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, this is why people canceling your ass. I don't blame people.
They don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
But Fat Joe, I got a question for you. You ain't you Hispanic, dude? You Hispanic. You're not black, dude. Like, my thing is, this is crazy. Like, I hate when people do this. I hate when white folk do this shit too. Like, who are you to tell black folks or wag your finger at black folks? You sound like what Barack Obama did with black men, because black men, they want to vote for Kamala Harris. He gonna wag his finger at them, saying that he come out and say we sexist, but damn near he might as well said it. but you Hispanic, bro. Like, who that's like me telling your community what y'all don't want to listen to, and some of y'all are fucking racist and all that stuff. You wouldn't like that shit. What the fuck? This is my first time hearing this shit. And I'm like, I heard other people talking about this. I'm like, really, dude? Like, you really want to go there? It's funny, man. But oh god, here we go, guys.
These guys.
You want me to say it name? We're gonna give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is.
It's called Foundational Black Americans, not Foundational Black Authority. This damn idiot couldn't even get the damn day right. Holy shit. He talk about them. And I think Tariq Nasheed is behind this movement. Yes. I think he's talking about Tariq Nasheed too as well. Jesus Christ, man. These people, I see, this is why I want to be distant from society sometimes. Because these people say some of the craziest shit. Oh, God.
I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo, bro. These rumors were made.
Okay. Now, I saw that whole clip. And I broke it down. Now, see, I'm going to start doing this because it's going to, I'm trying to validate myself more on media, instead of just talking out of my head sometimes, which I try not to do, but you human and you do that. Now I'm finna pull up what is Foundational Black Americans. Apparently this guy just like he said, Jesus Christ. This is their website, official website. It says FBA history. Foundational Black Americans are descendants of black people who survived one of the greatest atrocities recorded in American slavery. Let me make it bigger. I know y'all probably can't even see that. I'm sorry about that. That's better. FBA are descendants of black people who built the United States from scratch. Now, to me, that don't sound like somebody criticizing music, but let me continue. But this history did not start in 1619. The history of FBA almost started 100 years earlier. The first documented settlers of the New World of North America were the enslaved black people who were brought over by Spanish colonizer Lucas Vasquez de Ayllón in 1526. Shortly after, Ayllón and the 600 other Spaniards arrived to the area that later would become South Carolina Georgia coast. The enslaved black captives launched a successful revolt, forcing the new remaining Spanish enslavers to ultimately retreat from the area back towards the Caribbean. The liberated black people amalgamated into the local Native American society, and this was the new historic chapter that will ultimately become the culture of Foundational Black Americans. Since 1526, the culture of Foundational Black Americans has been building, resisting, preserving, and fighting for justice. FBA are exceptional people, and we recognize and celebrate and give honor to that lineage. So my thing is this, from what I read here, is that basically the Foundational Black Americans is an organization that goes all the way back to fucking 1526. Like what is Fat Joe talking about? Now, that must be different from what Tariq Nasheed said. I don't know what Tariq Nasheed said. Maybe I should have, my dumb ass, I should have looked it up. Like, I was looking at some tweets of his or what did I put. Like, Fat Joe, you basically slandering this organization for no good reason. I just read you what it's about. It didn't say anything about music. It didn't say anything about pure black. It's not saying that. It's saying it's respecting and trying to understand black culture from 1526 when a Spanish settler took enslaved Africans to the Georgia, South Carolina coast. So, yeah, y'all. See, that's why we need to educate ourselves before we start getting on podcasts talking shit. Like, yeah, I don't blame people for canceling your ass. All it took is a fucking Google search. I put that shit in Google and it popped that up. That's all it took. Oh, I'm so glad I don't listen to Fat Joe's music. Fuck him, man. Fuck you, Fat Joe. You don't even know what the fuck you talking about, dude. Alright, guys. Be sure, before I get to the next story, hit the like button. Helps out an algorithm. So, the next story is from Mundo Weiss. It says, Jimmy Carter's Palestine legacy. Now, obviously, Jimmy Carter died on Sunday at the age of 100. And, he spoke up about Palestine. He did. He wasn't a great president at all, but hey, I guess everybody got flaws. So let me see. It says former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who died on Sunday at the age of 100, is a man whose legacy will forever be inextricably linked to Israel and Palestine. Yet that legacy will be built as much on myth as on reality, as with so many other aspects of the history of politics of the Holy Land. Carter is remembered founding many on the left, and for good reason. In many areas, he tried to govern with humanity, decency, and regard for people's rights. Whether due to his own shortcomings or the limitation of the system, he was not always successful, as citizens of the Cambodia and East Timor can attest. Still, if he was far from perfect, Carter still brings principles of human rights into his policy thinking more than any other U.S. president in living memory, and quite possibly all of American history. There can be a little doubt that Carter's heart was in the right place when it came to his ambition to resolve what he was referring to as the Israel-Palestine conflict. Carter spoke often about the need for Palestinian rights to be recognized, but he also repeatedly noted that he was motivated by his affection for Israel and desire to see it survive, something he did not believe it could do if it continued to oppress the Palestinians. So basically, I give him half credit for saying, hey, Palestinians deserve to have a right, but Israel do too. My thing is, fuck that. Like, nah, bro. Like, one state solution. Like, I guess he was advocating for a two-state solution, but one state solution, bro, is the only way. Like, no. Like Israel's an imaginary state. Like, why would you give an imaginary state two-state solution? Like, you like, that's just not right. that's like giving a robber half of your house. Oh, hey, this is your own house you own, but you get to rob your own house, even though they took it and fucking tortured you to death. Like, no, bro. Let me continue. It says Carter had often expressed boundless sympathy for the Jewish people, and they had endured throughout history, but he recognized both that this history did not justify the oppression of other people, and that establishment and ethnocentric apartheid state will not end the scourge of anti-Semitism or the harm that caused to Jews. This was the ethos he expressed in his book, even while it was less visible in his policies as president. Carter's view of the issue was I can't talk, guys. I'm sorry. Shaped by his evangelical Christian background and in his thorough immersion of the view of Israel that dominated the United States throughout the Cold War years after World War II. It was a view of Israel that a few Palestinians would recognize, but it was also a view that in the 1970s and 1980s was still more critical of the Israeli action than the overwhelming majority of Americans. Carter's view evolved over the years, as we can see from the two major points of Carter's engagement with the issue: the Camp David Agreement and Egypt Peace Treaty of 78-79, respectively, in the publication of his controversial book, Palestine, Peace, Non-Apartheid, in 2006. Okay, so this person met Carter. It says, I had a privilege of meeting President Carter a few years before his book was published. The meeting was attended by half a dozen progressive leaders in the San Francisco Bay Area on the University of California, Berkeley campus. The most striking thing I recall about Carter, aside from his oppressive feeling his Secret Service guards protected, was the depth of his feeling when he talked about the Jewish history and the Palestinian present at the time. I've met many political leaders. I'm used to the air of phonies they project. There was nothing of that with Carter. He wasn't genuinely affected by the suffering he was talking about. He was a much better actor than he was ever a politician. Carter spoke with pride of the work he put into the Mememchin Begin and Sadat of the agreement at Camp David, with the immense regret that he didn't do more to secure a better future for the Palestinian people. Yeah, that was Carter's legacy. He could have done more. Like, I noticed that. It's like a pattern with him. Like, yeah, it's like, I guess he had a bunch of centrist establishment people around him telling him, nah, don't go that far. Don't go too far. Of course, right? One can debate the politics and strategy of his actions, and one even considerable fault with them, but it's clear that his intentions toward both people were positive. Carter is seen by much of the Jewish community and many other supporters of Israel as an enemy. Of course, the man who forced then Israel Prime Minister Menachem Begin to accept compromises that he and the pro-Israel community wished to reject. But as it played out, Carter did more for Israel's security than any other U.S. president, while unwittingly setting the stage for the steady erosion of Palestinian rights that the Oslo process represented. The result of the Camp David summit and the Israeli-Egyptian peace agreement that emerged from it was that Israel has not faced a credible military threat since the agreement was put in place. Carter understood, as any observer would, that if Israel made peace with Egypt, it would remove a single biggest military challenger in the region, and the remaining Arab states would no longer be able to mount a credible threat against Israel. He understood as well that bringing Egypt firmly into the United States' sphere of influence, the Cold War balance of power in the Middle East would shift significantly. Yeah, like AIPAC, which should be labeled as a foreign agent, like, that brought power to Israel. That's why some people call it the United States of Israel. But I'll continue. Carter, in that case, acted not only in the interest of Israel, but also had a clear American interest in the outcome. The regime of annual aid that has followed ever since both Israel and Egypt locked both countries into an alliance and into a certain degree of independence on the United States, a factor that was of great importance in Cold War strategy. All of this was lost on Israel's support of the United States. In his book, We Are Not One, A History of America's Fight Over Israel, historian Eric Alterman described the reaction to Carter mentioning the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people, citing Carter's press secretary, Jody Powell, describing the actions as bunkers. Alterman elaborated. It says here, Democratic fundraising events were canceled. Representatives of the administration to Jewish groups were shunned. Hyman Bookbinder, the outspokenly liberal Washington representative of the American Jewish Committee, lectured to Carter people. Obviously, you apparently do not really understand what these words mean. Palestinian rights means the destruction of Israel. That's such funny. A Harris poll taken at the time found 60% of Jews agreeing with the statement that the president and his people had abandoned Israel. Yeah, but hold on. Like, how can he abandon Israel when he said that he believed in Jewish rights too, along with Palestinian rights? All Carter was saying is that he don't support the oppression. Like, hell, Carter is in the middle. Like, I'm way far to the left on this issue. I think give Palestinians they fucking land back. Carter saying let everybody come together, let it be a two-state solution. But Palestinian rights is the destruction of Israel, according to these fucking people. I wouldn't be surprised if AIPAC, well, AIPAC powerful back then? Apparently it was. I wouldn't be surprised AIPAC what it influenced Carter to lose too as well. I need to look that up. That's a good study right there. Altman further noted that the chairman of the Committee of Presidents of major Jewish organization at the time, Alexander uh, Shadler leaked the contents of a private meeting with Carter to the press, a highly unusual betrayal of trust that generated even more intense controversy and American Jewish anger at Carter, as it was intended to do. All of this, it must be noted, was in response of Carter's vision of Palestine being a sort of autonomous adjunct of Jordan, a position not far removed from that most of the Israeli political spectrum. He was not advocating for an independent Jewish state, an idea which was completely out of bounds in American political discourse of the late 70s and early 1980s. Wow, I wonder why. Couldn't be influence of money in politics, right? Or a foreign agent, it couldn't be an influence of a foreign agent, right? Interesting. Let me see. Indeed, Carter in March 1977 said that the first prerequisite of a lasting peace is the recognition of Israel by their neighbors, Israel's right to exist, Israel's right to permanently exist permanently. So basically, Carter basically said Israel has the right to exist, but Palestinians have rights too. And if you've been pro-Palestine like I've been over a year now, you understand that nah, bruh, nah, nah. Carter never wavered from that position, despite the invective hurled at him by Israelis and Israel's American boosters for the rest of his life. It says, when the historic agreement emerged from Camp David, parts of the Jewish community saw Carter in a better light. But this soon faded amid controversy over the sale of fighter jets to Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Jewish leadership got even more enraged when, due to miscommunication, the U.S. vowed in favor of a UN Security Council resolution that condemned Israel's settlement in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. Though Carter said that the U.S. was supposed to abstain and only voted yes by mistake, the Jewish leadership, already hostile to them, was not mollified. It's worth noting, however, that at the time opposition to settlements was a much stronger U.S. policy, so that even the staunchest pro-Israel advocates didn't expect the U.S. to vote no on the resolution. The times have certainly changed. It says here, the Jewish community was nowhere near large enough, powerful enough to cause the defeat of an incumbent president. It was a factor for Edward Kennedy's strong, if ultimately unsuccessful, challenge in the Democratic nomination in 1980, which weakened Carter. Carter had the poorest showing among Jews of any Democratic presidential candidate since 1920, although he still won plurality of the vote. Then it says John Anderson, who ran as an independent, got 15% of the Jewish vote, Carter 45, and Reagan 39. So, yeah. I guess the guy that ran in the primary Carter in 80, I guess he probably was a Jew, an AIPAC handler to a certain extent. Yet, after all of that, and with some continued grumbling and foot stomping, Israel did not manage to make peace with Egypt, withdrawing its settlements from the Sinai Peninsula, secured the financial funding that stabilized and grown its economy and helped it become the dominant military power in the region, and kept Egypt as a co-ally ever since. Israel has Jimmy Carter to thank you for all that. Yeah, Carter was weak in a lot of areas, though. He was. It says Reagan did little but press forward on Carter's action to the end of his second term. Ironically, this is crazy. Reagan would, only in a few months after taking office, have his own run-ins with Israel's domestic U.S. lobby over the sale of airborne warning and control systems to Saudi Arabia. Yet Reagan remained beloved among the pro-Israel forces, despite selling the state-of-art military system to the Saudis, whom Israel was extremely unfriendly with at that point, despite his frequent criticism of Israel's behavior in Lebanon. Despite rebuking Israel for its dangerous attack on the Uswaq nuclear site in Iraq in 1981, the difference was that Reagan rarely mentioned the Palestinians and often said nice things about Israel. Of course. I'm going to read this. It says, in the word apartheid, exactly accurate. Yep. I think Carter over time became more and more pro Palestine. I think at first, like in the beginning, he was like both sides in it, but towards the end, he became more open. Yeah. Carter told journalist Amy Goodman in 2007, within Palestinian territory, they are absolutely totally separated. Much worse than they were in South Africa, by the way. And the other thing is, the other definition of apartheid is one side dominates the other. And Israelis completely dominate the life of the Palestinian people. Carter was responding to the resounding criticism of his book, Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. The book itself was far less remarkable than the title, which drew an avalanche of criticism to Carter, including accusation of anti-Semitism. Oh boy. Oh boy. Then ADL leader Abraham Foxman said the title is to delegitimize legitimize Israel. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm slow. Because if Israel is like South Africa, it doesn't really deserve to be a democratic state. He's provoking. He's outrageous. He's bigoted. Yeah. So basically, the book. So basically, to me, like you gonna write a book, like just to get the pro-Palestine people to get it. They read it and they see like, and this guy trying to say Israel is good. It's good even though they are causing Palestinians to suffer. Come on, Carter. Oh, Carter, come on, man. Like Foxman's statement is bizarre. States, of course, do not deserve to be democratic. It is something they either are a significant agree or they are not. Foxman could not even utter the possibility that Israel was not a democratic state, which interestingly was certainly not what Carter was saying either in his book or his subsequent statements in writing. Carter was trying to warn Israel that it would become an apartheid state if it didn't change course. This stood in sharp contrast to the claims of Palestinians who by 2007 had already been accusing of Israel apartheid for many years. Worse for Foxman was that Carter made argument that legitimate Palestinian views are rarely heard in the media. Although Carter neither stated nor even implied that his demonstrable statement of fact had anything to do with a nefarious conspiracy of Jewish control, Foxman said, the reason he gives for why he wrote this book is this shameless canard that the Jews control the debate in this country, especially when it comes to the media. Well, yeah, Jews do control media, they control Hollywood, yeah, control the music industry, yeah. It's true. Like, it's not anti-Semitic to say that. Carter knew he was going to get hit for the title of his book. The substance, however, made it clear he was trying to steer Israel away from his own self-immolation on the altar of his occupation. At the end of his book, he wrote, the bottom line is peace will come to Israel in the Middle East only when the Israeli government is willing to comply with international law. It will be a tragedy for the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the world if peace is rejected and a system of oppression, apartheid, and sustained violence is permitted to prevail. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. Yeah, so basically, Jimmy Carter, even though I give him credit for talking about Palestine to a certain extent, still basically saying Israel has the right to exist. It basically, like, come on, Carter, come on, man, like what, like he want to tell the truth, but I don't know, you scared. You were scared when you was in office, and now you wasn't in office when you wrote that book in 2007. Like, you could have just told the damn truth, saying that Palestine needs the Palestinians need their fucking land back. Like, if you said that, man, I'm pretty sure you probably get more respect, despite your last days ago 13 years in office. And so yeah, that's that story. All right, guys. Next story is this is for More Perfect Union, and this is very interesting to close out 2024. How will Joe Biden be remembered? Obviously, Joe Biden dropped out. He was forced to drop out, and then Kamala Harris eventually lost to Donald Trump. But like, talking about Joe Biden's presidency, man. Like, my thing is, I think Joe Biden will be remembered by. I think he will be remembered from Gaza. I think that's the most important thing. I think Gaza, in my eyes, like, come on, man, like that right there. Like, whenever time I think, like, if I'm going forward in history, like, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker is an evil son of a bitch, man. Evil son of a bitch. But More Perfect Union, they went way more broadly than me. So I'm gonna play this video and give my thoughts on it as we go.
Now, over 60% of the American people think they're personally better off than they were before. But they think the economy is worse off overall. They think the country's worse off.
But the thing that I think is, because I'm wrestling with that same question, Mr. President, I know you are too. Why are people still feeling an unease about an economy that clearly has macroeconomic indicators improving?
It's just beginning.
The economy is better off for the top 1%. Like these people think the American people are dumb. Like, people look in their bank accounts every day and see that, yeah, this is not working. This is unsustainable. Like, it's unsustainable unless you're not the top 1%. Like, the Democrats and Republicans both, what Jake failed to do, call out both sides. Democrats and Republicans both serve the 1%. They don't serve the American people. They just want the left and the right to fight over each other over transports and all that stuff. Like, but what we need to fight, we need to come together and defeat these motherfuckers, is for the economy and making our lives better.
Sink in. But I think that it's hard to tell someone about the hundreds of thousands of jobs we created with the CHIPS and Science Act when they haven't seen it yet.
As debates rage about Joe Biden's economic legacy, I wanted to sit down with the president himself to understand it. What was the vision behind Joe Biden's agenda? What did it deliver for working class Americans? And where does the president himself feel like it didn't go far enough?
Mr. President, over the period of your life, I feel like there's been a change in CEO culture. I'm wondering about your observations of it, because I feel like, when you were growing up, my impression is that if you were a major business leader, you cared more about your workers. But we've gotten to a place that it feels that this shareholder profit being the only be-all, end-all in the stock price is the way in which CEOs think about businesses. And I wonder if, from your observation dealing with CEOs a lot, what do you have to say about CEO culture in America?
Well, that's how they get compensated. The stock price goes up, their salary goes up.
Oh, God. God. Now I see why they had this guy. My God. Oh, God. Hey, he right, though. Yeah. CEOs obligated to about the profit margin. That's why they're there for.
I think the compensation culture is off. And I also think we're moving back, though. That's why fundamentally I wanted to change the dynamic.
Mr. President, you came into the Senate in 1972. People didn't follow stock trades, and you could have, if you wanted to get wealthy. You could have gone in early on Google and Boeing and Microsoft and NVIDIA and Amazon. You could have been an early investor. You didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't own any stocks for that whole period of time. When nobody was looking, there was no Stock Act, nobody was checking you. Why?
Look, for 36 years, I was listed as the poorest man in the Senate. Not a joke. You know that listing they had? I mean, in Congress, not the Senate, House and Senate. I never thought I was poor. I had a salary that a senator made. But, I don't know how you look your constituents in the eye.
I think that's a problem, too, man. It's like people get into Congress and presidency, to be honest with you, Senate. It's like these motherfuckers getting here to enrich themselves. And my thing is, like, the now I'm talking about back then, but now like how much do you motherfucker make? 175,000 or some shit like that. Like why you want to buy stocks? What you want? You want to be a stockbroker or some shit? Like I'm just saying like American people don't know this. Like your congressperson has stock. Like but they buy stock. It's called insider trading. Like your congressperson enriching themselves and you and your district drowning. Like that should be a big problem for everybody in this country, no matter what fucking political ideology you land on. Like these motherfuckers supposed to serve us and they enriching themselves. Nah, I'm pretty sure things changed for him. He said he was the poorest congressperson for 30 some years and all that shit. Not for long though, fool. Oh God.
And no, because the job they gave you an inside track to make more money. I think we should be changing the law that we have to, but we abide by at the federal level, that nobody in the Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in the Congress. Everything I've done.
Hey, my thing is, if you knew that, then why you didn't fight for that before? See what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can say it now because you know you done, you toast, you got one foot into the grave, old man. But yeah, like they're gonna listen at you. Like, yeah, tell Nancy Pelosi that.
My career has been designed to change the trickle-down economic theory to a theory that talked about how we're going to deal with benefiting people by increasing productivity, by buying American, by selling products that are made in America, et cetera.
Mr. President, you grew up in a generation that I think we've moved a little bit away from, where the people would check the back of their the tags on the back of their shirts. And what were they looking for? Made in America.
Yep.
They look at the VIN, the vehicle identification number on cars. What were they looking for? Made in America. That seems to mean something to you.
There used to be a situation where we made it in America, but what happened? Corporate America got greedy. What they decided to do was find the cheapest labor in the world, send the product they were going to make to that state, that place, that nation, and import the product back. And so, not my watch. What we do is we're making sure we make it here. It gives people a real shot. I really mean this. It sounds corny, but everybody deserves a chance. So when I got off.
Well, why you didn't fight for that in the 90s when Bill Clinton signed the TPP and NAFTA on Joe Biden? Like, but no, you was, fighting for a crime bill to lock up black people for having a little bit of weed in their pocket or a little coke or whatever. Like, yeah, that was a bigger accomplishment you made. Like, you could have fought against that. You said, no, jobs need to be made here in America. Don't outsource our job. So you can say this shit now, but that one thing that boggles my mind. It's like, these motherfuckers talk. These people are so fucking hypocritical. It just boggles my mind. Like you just going on. And then one thing that make sense to me. He said he didn't make no money from the stock market, but he got donor money. Like, you got money from donors. Back then, like, at first I remember donors didn't want to touch you at first. Then you sold your soul to them. Then all of a sudden you that's how you became got more power. Oh shit.
As president, I tried to do what I used to work with Bernie doing too, and others, well, not all the years I was in the Senate. That is, give people an even shot. And the way you do that is you provide for an opportunity to build the economy not from the top down, but from the middle out and the bottom up. And so that's why I worked so hard to pass some of the early legislation.
President Biden passed 3 major laws investing trillions of dollars in American manufacturing and infrastructure: the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act.
We used to make those little computer chips about the size of the end of my little finger here. Well, we used to make 40%. We invented them. We made 40% of them. We made virtually none anymore. So what happened was when the pandemic came and those factories in Asia closed down that were making these chips. Guess what? A new automobile needs 300 of them. We didn't have them. Computers, cell phones, a whole range of things. We didn't have them. So what happened? Price of automobiles skyrocketed. There's 60, 70, 80 billion dollars in computer chip manufacturing occurring here in the United States now, where it was virtually gone. But the problem is, we knew it's going to take a while for the to get shovels in the ground and get it moving, so they haven't seen it yet. But you don't need a college degree to make them. You know what the average salary is? $103,000. And it goes into all this.
Well, that's crazy though. Like, yeah, you start this shit, make for chips to be made here, but Donald Trump will take credit for that. You know that, right? Oh God, man.
All the construction going on, the skilled craftsmen.
And the next guy, obviously, he has thoughts on whole tariffs and all kinds of things he wants to do. But correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a vision too of targeted tariffs in which you think for the preservation of American jobs and communities, they can be useful. Help educate people. How should we think about tariffs, Mr. President?
If we allow a country, China for example, to flood the market with a product where they're paying the equivalent of 1/3 we're paying employees to do, and they're not getting paid at home, guess what? That puts Americans out of work. That's different than saying every product we import from a country, we're going to add a tariff to, because that just increases Americans' cost. And so what we want to do is we want to change the behavior of countries. So I had what they call a come to the Lord meeting, a little other phrase, with Xi Jinping. He said, why are you so tough on us? I said, real simple. You say you can't invest in China, a business, unless a Chinese entity owns 51% of the business. How's that fair trade? So we're going to do the same thing with you. And wait. There's certain things that relate to fair trade where you break the international rules of competition in ways that are just unfair. It should be dealt with. Conversely, if you say no matter what you import to the United States, there's going to be a tariff, who pays the tariff? The middle class.
I asked the president about his other efforts to bring down costs for the middle class and whether they ultimately went far enough.
I was finally, after all these years, with the help of guys like Bert, negotiate how much they'll pay for a drug that they're being paid for Medicare. Well, they fought that for years. Well, guess what? It's now the law. Now, for the first time, Medicare is able to.
Wow, that's such a big accomplishment. I think a bigger accomplishment would be what you could have done now. Like, this is crazy. Like, this ain't no fucking formality. Like, he could have actually done this. Like, when pandemic was still a national emergency, he could have. There's a provision on Obamacare that gives people in a some kind of emergency health care. Medicare, I guess. Like, he could have gave everybody Medicare for all. He first got in office, but he went from that, not doing that, to having Medicare to negotiate what 1 or 2 drug prices. Like, how that help anybody else? Like, my bubble, she don't take a whole lot of medication, but it may help her in the future, but it don't help me. It don't help my friends, my family that's younger. Like, oh God, jeez. This is why they lost. This is why.
We'll negotiate these prices. Guess what it's doing? Saving the taxpayer $160 billion. So instead of paying $400 for that medicine, they're paying $35. So the point is that corporate greed got out of hand, in my view. One thing that we haven't been able to change yet, and it's starting to change, is that you go to a grocery store, a dozen eggs, a gallon of milk, a pound of bacon, still costs more than it did before the pandemic. That's a lot of money for people. It's taken time to change that. So there's reason for frustration, but there's gigantic change been made.
But the thing that I think is, because I'm just...
Yeah. Yeah, you admit, yeah, prices are still high, even though y'all pretend like inflation going down, it's going down. But this guy admitted, yeah, shit is still high. Oh, boy. We continue.
Wrestling with that same question, Mr. President. I know you are too. Why are people still feeling an unease about an economy that clearly has macroeconomic indicators improving? And at least from my impression, the math is getting harder for some middle class families to make it. That if you look at affording college right now, it takes up a higher percentage of middle class income. The big picture stuff, the owning a car, child care, some of the biggest items in people's lives when they think about generational wealth and having their next kids grow up. I think the math just shows it's harder now.
It is. That's why I forgave billions of dollars in student loans. Billions. It's good for America. It helps America when they can then go buy the home. I pushed very hard.
Why you didn't cancel student loan debt for everybody? Like you could still do that. The stroke of a pen, like you can still do it. It's still time. Like you got 21 days left or some shit like that. Like you got time to do it, but you don't want to do it. You did a half-wash student loan cancellation. You canceled for a few thousand people. Like still millions of people with student loan debt. Like I got student loan debt. So, and yeah, like like I said, you don't give a fuck. Like I tweeted that. You don't give a fuck.
As others have, didn't get it done. Or child care tax credit. That increases economic growth. A woman can go to work knowing her child's going to be okay, knowing things are going to work, increasing productivity across the board. And it's just beginning to sink in. But I think that it's hard to tell someone about the hundreds of thousands of jobs we created with the CHIPS and Science Act when they haven't seen it yet.
You put tough cops on the beat to investigate and go after things like big oil collusion, fight the Kroger-Albertsons merger, which, by the way, a judge, agreed with your FTC today on, the junk fees and the late fees. My impression is people didn't know that your administration was going after corporate greed in certain ways, and yet you made these decisions to put people in charge as regulatory watchdogs. Why?
The National Labor Relations Board is supposed to accommodate labor. They're putting people on the boards that are against unions. Ridiculous. We changed that. We changed that, but it takes time for it to sink in. It takes time for it to take root. And one last thing. The fact is that there are a lot of junk fees out there. You bounce a check, pay $35, I change that, it's $5. For someone making $100,000 with 3 kids, $35 is a lot of money.
100,000.
You want to take your kid in
He said 100,000 bucks. Oh God.
on a plane ride with you. You have all these hidden fees. You have hidden fees and overdrafts for your credit card, hidden fees. And we want to get rid of all that because it saves people hundreds of dollars.
What is your reaction to the fact that you see a lot of the billionaires coming in? I mean, you didn't have any billionaires, right? And here we got, I think, somewhere up to 14, 15 billionaires running the United States government.
We have 1,000 billionaires, man. You know what their average tax they pay? Average federal tax?
Oh God. Ooh, jeez.
8.2%. 8.2%. If you're working on a diner, you're paying a hell of a lot higher federal tax than that. So look, I just think that Americans are beginning to catch on to what's going on. And I think that's why you're going to see a lot of what we've been able to get done. I don't think you're going to see the Republicans get rid of it. They're going to figure out the public's not going to like them getting rid of it.
No, they gonna get rid of it. Why would they get rid of it? Like, I heard that Republicans, when like half-ass decent shit pass, it's not great, but it's half-ass. Republicans take credit for it, and they didn't even vote for it. So, yeah, Trump gonna take credit. Yeah, we're building these chips. We building the chips. What you think? Like, my God, dude. Oh God. It's like he telling the half truths too. Like he's saying, "Hey, um, yeah, shit's still high. People's lives are still bad, but hey, it is what it is." So, I'm finna read the comments, man. I need to start reading the comments of these videos. Um, it says, let me make it bigger. Um, there we go. It says we need median income values, not average. Average is skewed by a few rich. They said they didn't get greedy. They always been greedy. Yeah, always been greedy. They talking about BNL. There was some semblance of checks on their greed, but not much more. This person right here says corrupt politicians have allowed corporate greed to become so prevalent today. It's only going to get worse as the future unfolds. Yeah, Bill Biden a part of it. Yeah, people realize it. Somebody said public officials should not own stocks. That is crazy. Like, how in the fuck you a public official? I mean, you supposed to serve the people and you owning stocks and then getting, man, that's crazy. And they say young people can't pay rent. Yes, that's what I said. Rent is too damn high. This my total truth here says that both parties is owned by lobbyists. They write laws for both parties in all 50 states. Yep. Lobbyists are owned by the corporations. The corporations really owns our whole government, to be honest with you. Even our regulatory systems. Like, yeah, that's life. This says he said for someone making $100,000, Joe, that's 18% of people in America. 82 of people can't even make that much, bro. Out here struggling far less. Hell yeah, jobs still paying $10 an hour in some places. I'm like, how the fuck you gonna survive in $10 an hour, even in Louisiana? Like, it says, the average person doesn't feel things are getting better. Housing, groceries, healthcare costs are still through the roof. Trump won't change any of that either, though. So we'll just be screwed unless real change is implemented. Getting rid of this two-party corporate state would be a good first step. Now, I love this comment, man. Like, they told the absolute God honest truth. He now the part I disagree with. He said we are just screwed unless real change is implemented. Well, change can be implemented through community building, organizing, education. Damn, there you go. That's coming right there. Sorry about that, guys. Real change can happen. Like I hate this doomerist mentality. Like even this guy I used to talk to, he had confidence, then he just started to be a doomer. Like we just screwed. Like everything is just bad. I'm like, yeah, man, I feel it too. But what we gonna do? Just sit around and whine and bitch and moan all day, or we'll try. At least we go down fighting to fix the system. Like it's possible. I think the society got us got us tools to say like things are meant to happen this way. That's not true. It's not true at all. Okay, now I'm finna read some more comments. Let me see what else it says. It says corporate greed is blame shifting. Our politicians on both sides set the policies and regulations that allow corporate greed to manifest. It says he wasn't a poor senator. He was the least rich of them. You can't add poor to a phrase of a concerning a U.S. politician. That's so true. This guy begging for donors to support him. Like, yeah, that's bullshit. Read one more. I read this one. It's from Ram Bodie 467. It says the average income in the United States is $74,500, excluding top 10 Americans. Excluding the top 10 Americans is $65,000. Excluding the top 50 is $48,000. And excluding the top 1,000 is $35,000. Then there's some more here. It says, and it goes down from here. All of this propaganda about the economy being better than ever is fooling no one. People don't have money to pay rent and eat food. Exactly. Like, that's so true. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Like, Like, listen, the co-founder of the network, like, she works a full-time job. She has 2 kids. She got a raise. Um, her rent is high as fuck. And once she pay that rent and her other few bills, she ain't got no money left. I think she's told me she got less than $100 in the bank. Less than $100. And what you gonna do for the whole month with less than $100? So yeah, like I have to make a mutual aid network for her just to help her survive. Like, only in America where you have to crowdfund for healthcare, you have to crowdfund for other stuff like that. Like, this system needs to change, man. Like, and, I feel so bad that I have to do that because, for her, because I know that people online, obviously, like when you promote it, the crowdfunding, people really don't see it like that. And then on top of that, people ain't got money like that. So that's why I ask people to just boost it, retweet it, like it. Look, I know I post a lot, but on Twitter, I'm talking about crowdfunding for my friend. It's called a mutual aid network for her. That way, if she need the money, she have the access to it. Like she could get, crowdfunding. But yeah, not just her. Lots of people have to do that. JB Fund, he crowdfunded a few times for rent, for housing. Like he was housing insecure for a little bit. Somebody else I know. It's a lot. And these motherfuckers keep saying the economy is great. Oh, it's great. The economy for who? Not for the bottom 99%. The what in the hell you talking about? Like, for the bottom 99%, it's fucking hell. It's fucking hell. It just I think more and more people are waking up. It's not as fast as I wanted to, but things take time. People wake up on their own recognizances. So yeah, y'all. That's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and be sure to give this live stream a like on your way out. And hopefully 2025 the ATP network will grow. You'll start seeing more people on the show, on the channel. You start seeing more people, and I want this network to succeed, man. I put so much energy and time into this motherfucker, man, and I be damned if I let something happen to it. Like, I'm just gonna say it like that. All right, guys. I'm Andre Morton. Thank you so much for watching the Good Faith Show. I'm signing out. Have a good one.